Toma lived a quiet life on Station Realm 4, a mining outpost near the edge of human-explored space. The station floated above a dusty planet, rich in minerals but poor in everything else. The days were long, the work was hard, and nothing exciting ever happened there. Toma was not a soldier or a hero. He was a repair technician. He fixed machines, replaced wires, cleaned filters, and drank the same bitter tea every morning before his shift. His only friend on the station was an old mining bot named Peach, who made strange sounds when it walked out one day after a small meteor storm passed. Something unusual happened. An alert rang out through the station. A ship was approaching. It was not human, it was not scheduled, and it was not answering any messages. Everyone on the station gathered near the docking bay, confused and nervous. Toma stood at the back, holding a toolbox. The ship that landed was silver and smooth, shaped like a bird with wide wings. Its surface shimmered, even in the dim lights of the station. Then the door opened, and the air went silent. A tall figure stepped out. She wore flowing white robes with golden lines running across them. Her skin was a soft shade of blue, and her eyes glowed gently. She was the Scifi Queen. No one had ever seen her this close before. The Scifi were one of the oldest alien species known to humans. They were peaceful, wise, and kept to themselves. They never visited outer stations, and their queen never left her world. Everyone froze. The queen walked forward with calm steps. Her guards stayed behind her ship. She looked at no one else. Her eyes were fixed on Toma. Toma felt his heart jump. He looked around, thinking she must be looking at someone else. But she kept walking, right toward him. When she stood in front of him, she reached into her sleeve and pulled out a small crystal sphere. It glowed with a soft blue light, like a sleeping star. She held it out to him. Toma blinked. Me? The queen nodded once. Her voice was quiet, but clear. Keep this safe. Toma took the sphere with both hands. It was cool and smooth. As soon as he touched it, he felt a strange warmth in his chest, like the feeling of sunlight after rain. Before he could ask anything else, the queen turned and walked back to her ship. The doors closed. The ship lifted into the air, silent and fast, and vanished into the stars. The room stayed quiet for a long moment. Then voices exploded. Why him? What is that thing? Did you see her eyes? She just gave it to a technician. The station commander, a sharp-eyed woman named Rel, stepped forward. Toma, report to my office. Now. Toma followed her, still holding the sphere. It hummed softly in his hands. Inside the office, Rel sat behind her desk and stared at him. Do you know why she gave that to you? No, Toma said honestly. Have you ever met the Scifi before? No, never. Rel sighed. We scanned the object. We can't read it. No data. No known material. It's not dangerous, but it's definitely not normal. Toma looked at the sphere. She told me to keep it safe. Rel leaned forward. Listen, until we figure out what this is, don't show it to anyone else. Keep it with you. If anyone asks, you don't answer. Understood? Toma nodded. He left the office and walked slowly back to his quarters. On the way, people stared at him. Some looked curious, some looked jealous, a few seemed afraid. Back in his small room, he placed the sphere on the table. It glowed faintly in the dim light. Peach the mining bot whirred into the corner and beeped at it, then backed away like it had seen something strange. Toma sat on his bed and stared at the sphere. Why me? He whispered. That night, he had strange dreams. He saw stars spinning around him. He stood on a glass bridge floating in space. In front of him stood the Scifi Queen. Her face calm. You are the key, she said. Then the bridge cracked, and he woke up. The room was quiet. The sphere glowed brighter now, as if it had heard the dream too. Toma picked it up. What are you? He asked. The sphere pulsed once, gently, like a heartbeat. Toma woke up before the station lights turned on. His head was full of strange images from the dream, stars, glowing paths. And the voice of the Scifi Queen echoed in his memory. You are the key, she had said. He sat up and looked at the small crystal sphere resting on his table. It was still glowing softly. But now the light had changed. It wasn't just blue anymore. Hints of green and silver moved inside it, like tiny waves. Toma reached for it. The moment his fingers touched the smooth surface, he felt a small vibration run up his arm. Not painful, just strange, like a gentle tap inside his skin. "Good morning," he said to no one. Feeling silly, the sphere pulsed once, as if answering him. He blinked. "Did you just respond again?" A small pulse of light. Toma leaned closer. "Can you understand me?" A longer pulse. Then nothing. He sat back, confused and curious. "Are you alive?" Silence. Toma shook his head and laughed quietly. "I must be losing it." Peach, the old mining bot, rolled into the room with a soft buzz and beeped once. It went to the corner, scanned the floor, then paused and turned toward the sphere. It let out a low chirp and backed away. Toma noticed the lights on Peach's screen flicker. For a few seconds, the bot stood completely still. "Peach?" Toma walked over and waved his hand in front of the bot. Suddenly, Peach powered back on and moved as if nothing had happened. Toma looked at the sphere again. "Okay, that's new." Later that day, Toma returned to his shift. The other workers stared at him, but no one asked questions. Station Commander Rel had ordered everyone to leave him alone. He was still allowed to work, but she warned him to report any changes in the object. He kept the sphere hidden in a pouch inside his jacket. It stayed warm and quiet all day. While fixing a broken mining arm near the outer hull, Toma heard a voice. "Left wire." "Not right." He turned his head. No one was there. "Who said that?" he asked over the comm. "Not me," replied his teammate, a quiet worker named Drew. "Are you okay?" Toma looked at the sphere under his jacket. It felt warmer now. He tried switching the left wire as the voice suggested. The machine lit up immediately. "How did you do that so fast?" Drew asked. "Lucky guess," Toma said. But he didn't feel lucky. He felt watched. That night, he kept the sphere on the table again. He stared at it while drinking tea. "Are you inside this thing?" he asked. The sphere lit up again, gently. "Can you speak?" A pause. Then a light blinked once or twice. Then stopped. Toma frowned. One blink means yes, two means no. A long pulse. "Okay," Toma said. "So?" "Yes." He took a deep breath. "Why did the Queen give you to me?" The sphere didn't answer. Toma tried again. "What are you?" This time, instead of a pulse, something different happened. The room grew dim, and the air felt heavy. A soft voice filled the space, not from the sphere, not from the walls, but from somewhere in his head. It was calm and smooth. "I am a vessel," it said. Toma sat frozen. "A vessel? For what?" The voice replied slowly. "For memory, for power, for choice." He rubbed his temples. "That's not helpful." Silence returned. Toma didn't sleep much that night. Over the next few days, the sphere continued to change. It responded to his questions with soft pulses. Sometimes it shared images in his mind of distant planets, tall towers made of glass, and ancient symbols he didn't understand. Once, he saw a large hall with floating lights and Sarani standing in a circle, looking at a human figure in the center. The human looked like him. Each time he touched the sphere, it felt more connected to him. Station Commander Rel called him in again. "Toma," she said, "I don't like secrets. And this thing you're carrying is full of them." "I didn't ask for it," he said. "I know," she said, leaning back. "But someone gave it to you. That means something." "What do you want me to do?" he asked. Rel paused. "Nothing. Not yet. Just keep watching. Keep listening. If anything strange happens, report it." Toma nodded. She looked at him for a long moment. "Do you feel different?" He thought about the voice in his head. "The images, the feelings, yes, but I don't know how." Rel didn't ask more. That evening, the sphere showed him something new. As he touched it, a circle of light appeared on the floor. In it, a glowing map showed stars and planets. One star was pulsing brighter than the others. Toma reached toward it, and a line of light connected the sphere to the image. A new voice spoke in his mind, one he had not heard before. It was deeper, older. "The path is open. the map vanished. The light faded. Toma stood in the dark, shaking slightly. Something had changed. Something had begun. Far away from Station Realm 4, the Serani Queen sat inside her quiet chamber. The walls around her were made of smooth stone, glowing gently with soft lights. Tall plants with silver leaves moved slowly, even though there was no wind. The queen stood in front of a large round table. Round the table sat members of the High Council. They were older Serani, wise and calm, dressed in long robes. Each one had served the Serani people for many years. One of them, a narrow-faced elder named Varel, spoke first. "You gave the seed to a human, without our vote, without warning." The queen nodded once. "Yes." A second counselor, named Mara, frowned. "Why him? He is no warrior. He has no history with us. He has no pride." The queen said, "No hunger for control. He is quiet. He listens. That is why I chose him." Another elder raised his voice. "You risk everything. On a minor?" "No," the queen said softly. "I risk everything on peace." The room fell silent. The queen turned and walked to the center of the chamber. A bright light shone down, and in the center stood a tall pillar. Inside the pillar floated a second sphere just like the one Toma now held. "Long ago," the queen said, "our kind touched something deep in the heart of the galaxy, a living force, pure energy. It gave us power beyond machines. It connected minds. It helped us grow without war." Mara nodded slowly. "The core." "Yes," the queen said. "But over time, we forgot how to listen to it. We tried to use it as a tool. We became weaker. The bomb was lost." Varel narrowed his eyes. "So now we give it to a human. We did not give it." The queen said, "We let it choose." She turned toward the council again. "The seed responds only to a certain kind of mind, not the strong, not the proud, but someone with balance inside, someone honest." The council stayed quiet. "Have you seen what's happening in the outer systems?" the queen asked. "Factions are growing. Small wars are starting. If the core returns to us, we must not keep it only for Serani. We must share it, and a human may be the one who helps us do that." Varel looked uneasy. "And what if others find out first? The Varnic Coalition has spies everywhere. If they learn what you've done, they may attack the humans." The queen nodded. "That is why he must not stay hidden. He must begin his path soon." Mara asked, "Does he even know what he carries?" "No," the queen said. "Not yet." At that moment, across the galaxy, Toma sat in his room staring at the sphere again. He felt the strange pull in his chest. Every hour, the connection between him and the object grew stronger. When he closed his eyes, he could feel more than just the room. He felt energy moving through the walls. He could feel the hum of the station, the movement of machines, even the small warmth of Peach as it rolled across the floor. He wasn't afraid, but he was confused. "I need answers," he whispered. The sphere glowed, and a soft voice spoke. In his mind, it was the first voice he had heard, the one that said, "You are the key. You are being prepared." It said again. "For what?" Toma asked. "To open what was closed." The room grew darker, and the air turned cold. Toma held the sphere close. "What if I don't want this?" he asked. "Then it will choose again." The voice said, "But it chose you for a reason." Toma sat in silence. Outside, the stars slowly passed the windows. Inside, he felt the pressure of something much larger than himself. Later that day, Commander Rel came to his room. Her face was tense. "Toma," she said, "you need to hear this." She handed him a small screen. It showed a news alert from a nearby system. An unknown ship had been seen scanning outer stations. It didn't respond to messages and disappeared before anyone could catch it. "Do you think it's after me?" Toma asked. "I think someone knows the Serani gave you something," Rel said. "And if they think it's powerful, they won't just ask for it." Toma looked at the sphere. It was quiet now, but he could still feel the energy inside it. "I don't want to run," he said. "You may not have a choice," Rel replied. "If it gets worse, we'll need to move you to a safer place." Toma nodded slowly. That night, he had another dream. He stood in a wide field under a black sky full of stars. In front of him stood the Serani queen. Her hands were open. "You are near the first gate," she said, "but others are watching." Toma turned and saw dark shapes moving at the edge of the stars. They had sharp wings and glowing red lights. One of them looked directly at him. "They will try to stop you," the queen said. Toma woke up with a gasp. The sphere was glowing brighter than ever. He knew now. The gift was not just a tool. It was a key to something ancient, something others wanted, and he was right in the middle of it. The next few days were quiet, but the quiet did not feel safe. Toma felt watched. Even when he was alone, he kept the sphere close, either in his jacket or under his pillow. It no longer needed light to glow. It seemed to stay awake, just like him. Commander Rel increased security on the station. She placed 2 guards near Toma's living quarters. She said it was for his protection. But Toma knew there was fear. Behind her words, strange reports started coming in from nearby systems. Small ships had gone missing. Unmarked drones were seen scanning outposts. One station had gone completely silent. No damage was found, but the crew was gone. Toma read the reports late at night while the sphere sat on his desk. "They're looking for me," he whispered. The sphere pulsed once, gently. "Why me?" he asked again. No voice answered this time. But a strange feeling filled his chest. It was not fear. It was a quiet understanding. Like a calm before something big. One morning, the silence broke. The station lights flickered. Then alarms blared across the halls. "Unknown vessel entering orbit," said the computer voice. Toma jumped from bed and grabbed the sphere. Peach rolled into the room, beeping in panic. The old mining bot bumped into the wall, then hid under the table. Outside, a long shadow moved across the sky. Toma ran toward the command deck, where Rel stood watching the main screen. A large black ship hovered above the station. It had no flags, no numbers, no signals. It looked more like an insect than a ship, with long arms and sharp edges. "They're not answering our hails," one officer said. "Raise shields," Rel ordered. "Prepare for possible attack." The ship did not fire. It only waited. Then a voice came through, not on the radio, but through the speakers of every room. The voice was deep and cold. "Send the human. Give us what the queen left behind. You have 1 hour." Toma felt a chill run down his back. Rel turned to him. "Get to the emergency bay now." "I can't run forever," Toma said. "You don't have to," said a new voice. Everyone turned. A figure stepped out of the elevator at the far end of the deck. She wore silver armor, and her skin was soft blue. Her eyes glowed with calm power. "I am Selly," she said, "guardian of the Serani." Rel pointed her weapon. "How did you get in?" "I came through the gate," Selly said. "No human machine can detect it." Toma stepped forward. "Did the queen send you?" "She knew this day would come," Selly said. She looked at the sphere in Toma's hands. "You must leave with me now. That ship will not wait." Toma looked at Rel. She didn't speak, but gave a small nod. Selly walked quickly. Toma followed her through side halls and down hidden tunnels. They reached a storage bay where a small ship waited. It was smooth and silver, like a stone shaped by water. "How does this fly?" Toma asked, with light. Selly said, "The kind only you can unlock." They stepped inside. The doors closed. The ship hummed softly, then lifted into the air. Without a sound, as it left the station, the black enemy ship moved to follow. "They're coming after us," Toma said. "They will always come," Selly replied. "But they are too late." She touched the panel in front of her. A ring of light formed round the ship. The stars outside stretched and then vanished. In less than a moment, they were gone from that part of space. Toma sat down, breathing hard. "What are they? Why do they want me?" "They are part of the Varnic coalition," Selly said. "They want power. They think the queen gave you a weapon." "And did she?" Toma asked. "No," Selly said. "She gave you a choice." The ship entered orbit above a gray moon. Below, strange symbols were carved into the rocks. A small temple stood in the center, surrounded by glowing stones. "This is a place from before our time," Selly said. "It is where your journey truly begins." They landed, and the doors opened. Toma stepped onto the surface. It felt heavy but calm, like the ground itself remembered old things. Inside the temple, the air was warm. The walls had no lights, yet everything glowed gently. At the center was a raised platform with 3 steps. On the platform stood a round seat made of stone. "Sit," Sully said. Toma walked slowly to the seat and sat down. The sphere in his hands began to rise. It floated in the air, spinning gently. Then it opened. Not with noise. Not with fire. It opened like a flower, unfolding into light. From it came a beam that touched Toma's forehead. His eyes closed, and a wave of energy moved through him. He saw the galaxy as a web of lines. He saw different worlds, different lives. He saw people of many kinds, some human, some not. All were connected by something deep and unseen. He saw the core. It was not a place. It was a presence, a living memory, a quiet force that had waited a long time. Then the light faded, and the sphere closed again. Toma opened his eyes. His body felt the same, but his mind did not. Sully stood beside him. "You touched it. I didn't mean to," Toma said softly. "It has waited for someone like you," she said. "And now, others will know. The chase will not end, but now you are ready to choose." Toma looked up at the stars above the temple. He did not know what came next, but he knew he could no longer hide. The temple on the gray moon was quiet. No wind, no sound. Only soft glowing lines on the stone walls. Toma stood in the center, still feeling the energy from the sphere that had opened like light in his hands. His heart beat slowly. He felt calm, but he also knew something inside him had changed. He could feel the moon beneath his feet, not just its weight, but its history, like he had touched its memories. Sully, the Serani guardian, watched him closely. "You opened the gate," she said. "I didn't try to," Toma answered. "You didn't need to. The core saw you were ready." Toma looked at the sphere, now floating beside him. It was quiet again, but he could still feel its presence. "What is the core, really?" he asked. Sully walked toward the far wall and touched one of the glowing lines. The wall changed. A large image appeared, showing stars connected by thin golden lines. "This galaxy was once full of voices," she said. "Not machines, not wars. Connection, understanding. The core was not made by hands. It is part of everything." Toma stared at the image. "So why is it hidden?" "Because power makes some forget how to listen," she said. "The Varnic want to take, not share. That is why the Queen gave the seed to someone outside our kind." Toma turned away from the wall. "But I'm not special. I'm just a repair tech. I fix machines." Sully stepped closer. "That is why the core listened. You see things simply. You do not want to control. You only want to understand." He didn't answer. His mind was full of questions, but none had easy answers. Outside the temple, the sky shifted. A soft hum filled the air. Sully turned her head. "They found us." Toma followed her outside. In the sky above the moon, a black shape appeared. Another Varnic ship, sharp and fast, moving like a hunting bird. "We don't have weapons," Toma said. "We don't need them," Sully replied. The Varnic ship sent a signal. "Return the human. Return the object. This is your last warning." Toma stepped forward. He held the sphere in both hands. "We're not giving it to you." A long silence followed. Then the Varnic ship began to descend. Sully touched her arm. A soft wave of energy moved out from the temple. It was not an attack. It was a shield, a dome of light that covered the temple like a shell. The enemy ship fired. The light shimmered but held strong. Inside the shield, the ground began to glow. The platform where Toma had sat started to rise. From beneath it, ancient symbols lit up one by one, like something waking up after a long sleep. Sully looked at him. "It's time." "For what?" he asked. "To give the core your voice." Toma stood on the platform. The sphere rose above his head and spun slowly. A beam of light came down, not bright, but warm. It touched his chest. Toma closed his eyes. He saw stars again. He saw people from many worlds, some crying, some fighting, some building. He saw children running through ruins. He saw elders sitting in silence. He felt all of it at once. Then he spoke, not with words, but with feeling. Peace. The core listened. A wave of energy burst out from the moon. It was not seen, but it was felt. Across space, machines stopped, ships paused. Even weapons locked in battle froze for a moment. Something deep and old had returned. The Varnic ship backed away. Inside, their leader shouted, "What is that?" His crew had no answer. In their fear, they launched one final attack. A strong pulse of energy flew toward the temple. But just before it hit, the core responded. The light above Toma grew stronger. The energy from the attack was caught midair. It changed color. It softened. Then it faded like dust in the wind. Sully watched in silence. She had seen this before, long ago, in stories. She whispered, "He has awakened it." Toma stepped down from the platform. His face was calm. The sphere floated behind him like a star following its path. "I didn't stop them," he said. "The core did." Sully nodded. "You guided it. Will they come again?" "Yes," she said. "But now, you are more than a target. You are a light, and lights can spread." Toma looked up at the stars. Far across the galaxy, the Serani Queen stood in her palace, watching the same stars. Her council gathered around her. "The signal is clear," one elder said. "The core has opened," said another. The queen closed her eyes. "Then the next part begins, back on the moon." Toma sat by the edge of the temple. The ground was still, but the sky felt alive. "I don't know what comes next," he said. The sphere floated near his shoulder. "You don't have to know," said Sully, standing behind him. "You only have to keep listening." Toma gave a small smile. "I can do that." The stars above him no longer looked so far away. The moon was calm, but the stars above told a different story. Toma sat near the edge of the temple while the crystal sphere floated silently beside him. Sully stood nearby, watching the sky with quiet eyes. "The core listened to you," she said, "but others will not stop so easily." Toma nodded. He had seen the fear in the Varnic ship. He had felt the energy that had reached across space, but he also felt the weight of it now. Something had changed, and the galaxy would not ignore it. Just then, Sully touched the side of her wrist. A small round device lit up. A voice came through, soft but urgent. "This is Serani ship Lares reporting. Council orders received. Prepare to move the human to high orbit sector 7. Repeat, orders come directly from the Queen." Sully's eyes narrowed. "That is not the Queen's voice." Toma stood up. "Is it a trap?" "I think it is," Sully said. "Someone from the Serani Council may have betrayed us." Toma felt a chill. "But why would your own people do that?" "There are some," she said, "who fear what the core can become. They don't want it shared. They want to keep it for themselves, even among us. Not all follow the Queen's path." They rushed inside the temple. Sully touched the platform and opened a hidden path beneath the floor. A stairway lit up and led into darkness. "This way," she said. "There's a gate below. It will take us far from here to a safer place." As they went deeper underground, the walls began to glow with symbols Toma had never seen. The sphere floated ahead, lighting the way. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed behind them. Stone doors above slammed shut. The stairway shook. "They're here," Sully said. "We must hurry." They reached a large circular room. In the middle stood an ancient gate, shaped like a ring, made of crystal and stone. Energy moved slowly across its surface like water running over glass. Sully stepped forward and placed her hand on a panel. "Destination set," she said. "Step through when the gate opens." Toma nodded, but his eyes were on the gate. It pulsed with light. A soft hum filled the chamber. But before they could enter, footsteps echoed behind them. Serani elder stepped out from the shadows. His robe was dark blue. His face was calm but cold. Toma had never seen him before. "Sully," the elder said, "you were not given permission to activate this path." Sully moved in front of Toma. "Elder Heron, this is not the time for politics. You broke the law," he said. "The human must come with me." "He is under the Queen's protection," Sully replied. "The Queen is no longer in control," Heron said. The council now decides. Toma looked at the elder. Why do you want the core? To protect our future, Heron said. If the core spreads, there will be chaos. Every species will fight for it. Peace will break. You mean power will break, Toma said. You don't want to share it. You want to own it. Heron didn't answer. Instead, he lifted a small device and pointed it at the gate. Sully moved fast. She raised her hand, and a shield of light blocked the signal. Heron stepped back. You protect a human more than your own people? I protect what is right, she said. Heron tapped the device again, and four figures appeared behind him, armored Sirani guards. Then you leave me no choice, he said. The guards moved forward. Sully activated a ring of light around the gate. The walls trembled. The floor split. Toma grabbed the sphere and backed toward the gate. I can buy us time, Sully said. You must go. No, Toma said. You'll be trapped. Sully gave him a calm look. You carry the core now. You must reach the queen. She is the only one who can stop this from growing worse. Toma felt torn. He wanted to help. He didn't want to leave her. Go, she said again. The gate opened. A stream of light formed in the center. It shimmered like water in the air. The guards charged. Sully stepped between them and Toma. She raised both hands, and the floor glowed. Bright energy surged outward. Toma turned and jumped into the light. The world shifted. There was no sound, no ground, no up or down. Only color and movement. Then a flash and he landed on a hard surface. He stood in a large hall. The ceiling was high, and walls of glass showed stars moving slowly outside. He had never seen this place before, but it felt familiar. A voice called, Out, Toma. He turned. The Sirani queen walked toward him. You've come, she said. I had no choice. He said, They tried to stop us. I know, she said. But you made it. The sphere floated between them, then hovered near the queen. She placed her hand above it, and it pulsed softly. The core has chosen, she said. But now, we must act. Toma nodded. Some of your own people want to keep it hidden, Elder. Heron tried to take me. The queen's face grew serious. Then we are running out of time. She looked at the stars beyond the glass. If the core stays in one hand, it becomes a weapon. But if it spreads, it becomes something greater. What do we do now? Toma asked. We light the first flame, she said, and show the galaxy a different path. Toma stood beside the Sirani queen inside her crystal hall, high above a peaceful planet. Through the wide glass walls, stars moved quietly in the dark sky. The core sphere floated between them, glowing softly like it was listening. All around the galaxy, people were watching. The queen had called a gathering, one that had not happened for hundreds of years, for many systems. Ships had arrived, humans, Sirani, and other species stood side by side. Leaders, workers, scholars, and even children came to hear the message. In the center of the great hall stood a wide platform. Toma walked slowly to the middle. The sphere floated beside him, pulsing gently with every step he took. He looked out at the crowd. I am not a leader, he said, and I never wanted to be part of something this big. I was just a worker. I fixed machines. I drank tea. I had a quiet life. People in the hall listened in silence, but the queen gave me something, a gift I didn't understand. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I thought she chose the wrong person, but now I understand why. He raised the sphere. It glowed brighter. This is not a weapon, he said. It's not meant to give someone more power than others. It's meant to bring us together. The sphere responded. A wave of light spread across the room. Images appeared above it, memories of different people, different worlds, a child hugging a parent, a human helping a Sirani miner, a scientist from another world sharing water during a drought, all moments of kindness and peace. Toma looked at the queen. She stepped forward. We forgot how to listen, she said. We forgot that true strength comes not from control, but from unity. Toma reminded us. One of the human leaders stepped forward. And what happens now? Toma answered. We create something new, a core council, not ruled by one group, not owned by one species. Every voice will matter, Every hand will build. The crowd began to murmur. Some were surprised, some were hopeful. Some still looked unsure. Then another voice came. It was strong and sharp. No, everyone turned. At the edge of the hall stood Elder Heron. He had escaped capture and now walked forward alone. Guards moved to stop him, but the queen raised her hand. Let him speak, she said. Heron looked around. You think peace is simple. You think words and dreams will stop war. But they won't. Someone will always want more. Someone will always fight. Toma faced him. That may be true. But the core doesn't answer to power. It answers to hearts. Heron stepped closer. You're just a human. You don't understand what we've lost. I understand enough, Toma said. Fear makes us hide, but hope makes us build. The sphere floated between them. It pulsed once, twice. Then something strange happened. It opened again. This time, the light did not rise into the air. It spread across the floor, forming a wide circle. From the circle, shapes began to rise, not solid, but clear and shining. They showed the past, the early days of the galaxy, times when species worked together, times when the core was shared, times when peace was real. Even Heron could not look away. This is what we forgot, the queen said softly, and what we can find again. Toma looked at Heron. It's not too late. Help us build, not destroy. Heron stood still, his eyes lowered. Then, without a word, he turned and walked away. The hall was quiet again. Toma placed the sphere on a pedestal. In the center, it stayed open. Its light stayed warm. All around it, people from different worlds began to step closer, curious and calm. The queen spoke one last time. This is the beginning of the core council. From this moment, no one stands alone. The core will guide, but the people will decide. That night, lights from many ships circled above the planet. Across the stars, messages were sent. Old enemies called for talks. New friendships began. In a quiet room, Toma sat with Selly, who had arrived safely from the moon after the gate reopened. You did it, she said. No. He replied. We did. She smiled. So what will you do now? He looked out the window, where stars were still moving slowly. I think I'll keep listening, he said. There's still more to learn. The sphere sat on the table beside him. It glowed gently, not as a secret anymore, but as a light for all. And so, an innocent human who once fixed machines became the bridge between many worlds, not because he was powerful, but because he chose to listen, chose to share, chose to hope. The core had waited a long time. Now, it had finally awakened.